Good morning, my people. Good morning. I'm off to work, but I wanted to just drop you some love. My videos are very short because I know we all have things to do. But this is a video about spiritual warfare. I just wanted to let everybody out there understand you cannot fight the spirits of this world, of our lives. We can't fight those spirits unless we have the right spirit within us. That's important. You can't fight without the proper weapon, and the weapon is the spirit. So if you're battling spirits and you don't have the right spirit in you, you're not going to win this battle. What will happen is you will succumb to the spirits. And don't be deceived just because the spirits aren't devouring you in a sense that you understand because you feel like you survived. You succumb to them. And what happens in that instance is if you're not a threat, they're not really after you. They're not waging war against you. So you may not feel like you're in the middle of a battle because you're not a threat. That doesn't mean that you won. You're really in danger. So just pray, that the Father fills you with the Spirit, with the Ruach, with His Spirit, with His Ruach. I want all of us to survive, our spiritual warfare. There was a pastor, Stephen Darby. I've been, watching his videos lately. So in love with the way that the Father has been giving him revelation. So sad that that man has been taken from us. But what I realized last night, because I'm like, Father, I love when you bring righteous teachers, proper teachers, and they're feeding my spirit. But then I realized, what if I ever had to go into the wilderness? What if I was separated from everyone? What if, war broke out, when the Father comes, we're in the time of tribulation, and I can't access, a teacher? How do I get instruction? Well, the greatest thing of all is that the Spirit is within me, because I'm not supposed to rely on somebody else for my spiritual growth. I'm supposed to have the Spirit within me so that it can instruct me personally. That's the relationship that we want. The same revelations that other people are getting, you have to pray that the Spirit is within you strong enough, overflowing, abundant, so that that wisdom can be divided unto you, so that you can hear from Him directly. And you don't have to rely on YouTube or going to church, even though those things are fine. But you're supposed to have that within you as well. When you read the scripture, it's so amazing to me how, he was reading the word and he was pulling things out that when we read the word on an everyday basis, we miss sometimes, and he was able to bring information from different areas and pull it together and really divide that word and really, interpret it and bring out these meanings. And it was only the Spirit, which is why I respected his teaching so much. But I want to have that power and that wisdom and that ability. I want to hear clearly from the Father. You should be able to want to hear clearly from the Father yourself. That's why in the end days, we're going to be so easily deceived because the Spirit within us is not fully matured and it's not always the right spirit, and we're not going to be able to discern. That's why it's so important to have the right spirit within you. He mentioned in his video that the Spirit is the most important thing because that's the thing that guides you and leads you and connects you to the Father and helps you hear from Him. Yes, and that's correct, and that's in Scripture. That's in Scripture. We have to have the right spirit. The spirit that we have within us is what connects us to the spiritual realm. And if you don't have that right spirit, you're not hearing from the right spirit, and you are deceived, and you're getting instruction and living your life according to the wrong spirit, and you may not even know it. How frightening is that you think you're hearing from the Father and you're not? You're hearing from a spirit that wants to imitate the Father and lead you away to destruction. Oh man, do you understand? Noah survived the flood because the Spirit of the Father was strong within him. And when he got instruction to build the flood, he was confident that that was the Spirit of the Father speaking within him. And he was confident in each instruction on how to build that ark. That ark covered mountains. I mean, go look at mountains, Kilimanjaro. Go look at Everest. That flood covered them, and that ark rose. Had he not built that ark properly, he could have sank, and everything in that ark with him would have been destroyed. Do you understand how obedient he had to be? But you cannot be obedient to the Father if you cannot hear him. What? You cannot be obedient. No matter how much, even in your heart, you want to be obedient. You can't be obedient if you can't hear him. That is my prayer for all of us this morning. Anyone watching this video, just anyone on my page, I'm covering you in that prayer. That your heart be softened, that your ears be open, that your eyes be open to the Father, to the Spirit, that you're receptive, and that the Spirit grows abundantly within you, that the Spirit abides with you, that the Spirit resides with you in your home, that the Spirit walks and sits with you at your job and everywhere that you go, so that when the Father speaks, you hear it clearly, and that you have a spirit of obedience over you to follow the commands of the Father. Because that is the only way to live your life. It's the only way worth living. I don't care how good anything else in this world feels. Living for the Father is the only life worth living. I don't care about anything else. And at some point, I promise you, I don't care who you are. I don't care what thoughts you have, what belief system you have. I promise you, at some point, living for Him will be the only thing that you realize is worth anything. You might not feel that way today, but I promise you that day will come. I promise you. So before I'm late and I go into a worship session, I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. It's all about spiritual warfare. Make sure you have the right armor, and that is very heavily dependent upon the Spirit of the Father.